Good evening. Welcome to Simplify Tech Talks, Episode 2, Protecting Our Children on the Internet. I apologize for our late start. We were just trying to get a few more people on, so I want to make sure that we go ahead and get started. Tonight, we're in partnership with RockTelecom. They're our partners to talk about some of the different technologies that we have as well. We also have Simplify's good friend, Rebecca, who's joined us tonight. Rebecca, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you so much for having me. Good evening. My name is Rebecca Okori. I'm a financial controller at Maisha Medical Supplies and a proud mother of 3. Glad to be here.
Welcome, Rebecca. So we want to start out with the internet. I mean, obviously we all know that there are great things to do on the internet. During COVID, it was one of our primary sources of education.
Sure.
So there were some great things that we were doing. Social media, a lot of people using it for social media, for updates. Companies use it for getting information out about their companies, airline flights delayed, things like that. There's things like Khan Academy that has some wonderful content for us to learn with. And then also there's the entertainment aspect. So entertainment like Netflix. So you can be at home. My house right now, my home is now completely run off of streaming video off the internet.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. And during COVID, we had the opportunity to see the big, huge benefits of the internet, especially with education when it came to our children. It was the best avenue to educate the children virtually. But Ken, I can assure you we found some demerits during that time.
Yeah, so there are some things that we have to be careful about on the internet. So there are some bad things. So some of the things that we see is like fake information, fake websites that are put up, fake information like for example, in our U.S. politics, we had a lot of information that wasn't true about the politicians. We had a lot of information that wasn't true about the election results that turned out to be very dangerous and people were injured from it. So we have to be kind of careful on what is out there, making sure that we're going to the right sites and good information.
For sure. Maybe if you could go into more depth. So what are the issues? Let's get more specific in terms of...
So one of the other things that we see is bullying, and
Okay.
that's becoming a bigger problem as we go through. People out there can be mean, especially if they know that they can't be identified. They can make very bad comments. They can make things very hurtful. And especially to our children, that can be a really bad situation. These are some of the people that influence and do the things. So what we want to do is make sure that we can protect some of the bullying.
Yes.
The other thing is we have stealing identification. Now, you might not think that this is important for children, but children might be giving information about their parents, about their families that might not be proper. So making sure things like phishing, which is asking questions about logins, about the family, about phone numbers, about things like that actually can be turned into do some very dangerous things. We also have things like cybercrime, people who are stealing from others. Ransomware, we're hearing many stories about ransomware where people will put up sites, take over sites, and they'll charge you money to get the site back. Okay. Or they'll charge you money to not display information about your company.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have adult content, and I don't think we need to talk about that, but we know that there's a lot of adult content. We don't want our children exposed to that. So how can we protect our children when it comes to this?
Okay.
And then finally, there's disturbing content that's out there. Recently with car accidents and bus accidents, I've seen some really, really bad videos, bad pictures that are out there, people's death, people dismembered and things like that. That's something I get disturbed by. I can only imagine that the children would also be having problems with that. So these are some of the things that are out there on the internet that we have to learn to start protecting our children.
Okay.
So Rebecca, what are your kids using the internet for today?
Okay, so I didn't indicate earlier on, I have 3 kids with my eldest being 6. So you'll find them using it for entertainment. I mean, YouTube kids, they're watching Bluey and having a good time. But they also use it for academic purposes, for example, during COVID, and even on the weekends to do homework. For example, FunBrain or PBS Kids. So it's a mix, and should I say a cocktail of activities. But unlike in the older days, at least in my childhood, we were not exposed to the internet, so you had some level of control. But right now it's worrisome, just as you have indicated, there's no parental control. It's almost rampant on the internet as compared to watching a video, what we were exposed to in our time. So this is quite a compelling conversation.
Right. And it's different things for different ages. What we see is, children from 5 to 8 years old, the content that they're looking at is games, they're looking at cartoons,
Yeah.
Peppa Pig, they're looking at things that they can easily do for entertainment.
Yes.
The problem is sometimes a child will get access to a device that they might push the wrong buttons and have things that they shouldn't be on. So we have to be careful of that. As our children get older, the 8 to 15 age group, they have things like social media.
Okay.
And this is where other aspects come into play that we have to be more careful about, is how much time they're using, what they're putting on the internet. Are they doing things that are not good for themselves or good for what's going on out on the internet? They're talking to their friends, Instagram, Facebook, and things like that. So we have to talk about how to protect all of those things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the things, what are the issues that are out there from all of this. One of the things that we're seeing a trending going on, especially in the US right now, is strangers asking for pictures of children. Okay. So what they'll do is friend a child, friend even a teenager, and say, I'd like a compromising picture. Then it turns into a blackmail or something like that. We've even had stories where children have committed suicide because they didn't want these pictures to get out, and they were afraid to talk to their parents or talk to authorities to be able to fix the problem. Okay. So that's one of the areas that we see. We're also seeing TikTok. TikTok is one of the largest providers of content right now on the internet. They've far surpassed Facebook. And what they're seeing is challenges that are going out there. And some of you might have heard of them, and they come out almost every week, a new challenge. Things like Tide Pods, where people eat detergent Tide Pods and they get sick from it. Choking until you black out. Laying on top of massive milk cartons to prove that they can be better. And what it does is they're looking for likes. They're trying to get more and more people to like them because they feel that that's really important.
Yes, it's really amazing to know that in pursuit for more likes and popularity on social media, people are willing to risk their lives. And in instances, we have seen people actually do pass away from this.
Yes. And another one is selfies in that same vein, is people are taking selfies in more dangerous situations. They don't get a like unless it's something beyond. Having a selfie in front of an animal or in front of a location used to be the cool thing. Now you have to take it higher and higher in steps, and which causes more danger that comes in. And then finally, one of the problems that we have is children not knowing when to stop using the internet. Okay. So they get playing these games or they get on social media and they stay up late. And what that does is it impacts their education. They might stay up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and they have to get up for school. They neglect their homework and they even neglect their house chores. So we need to come up with ways that we can help start fixing some of these.
And that's a very good point, because as parents we tend to worry that the amount of time they're spending screen time can almost render their brains dormant. Because if I compare myself to the time I was growing up, the type of games we're playing were more creative in nature, if I may say, compared to looking at a screen all day. I mean, we had to come up with boxcars or makeshift cigarettes for most of the people in our time. So if you look at that and compare to your children spending 3 hours, 4 hours a day glued to a screen, you're almost concerned about their mental health.
Mm-hmm. So what are the devices that our children are using to get on the internet? I mean, we have as simple as a phone. Exactly. And there's a lot of parents that will take a phone and say, oh, I don't have time, here, take a phone and go watch a video. Mm-hmm. We have tablets, things like tablets. We also have computers. But also now what's coming out is things like virtual reality. These are virtual reality glasses where people can be embedded into various scenes, 360 degrees, the metaverse from Facebook and things like that. And these are the technologies. All of them pose the same risks and the same issues that we're seeing today.
Okay. So I'm curious to find out what are the recommendations, what are the ways we can protect our children on the internet?
Yes, that's a great question. So one of the biggest ways to do this is having a good relationship with your child. Okay. So one is educating the child, make sure they understand the risks that could be out there, some of the challenges that could be out there, but also having the relationship that if they feel threatened or if they feel bullied or if they feel that something has bad that's happened, that they feel comfortable coming to you. The worst thing that you can do is have them hide from one of these bad situations. If they've got themselves into trouble or if they're not sure about certain things, the best thing is to have that conversation. So the number one way to really protect your children is having a great relationship and really understanding the child's needs, what they're doing, and some of the issues that they might have.
Okay, that's a very good solution, because as a parent we tend to think that, okay, if my child has done something wrong, and I know I'm a victim of this most times, if your child has done something wrong, the first resolve usually is correction, and then disciplinary action comes into force. And we tend to forget to prioritize, like building that relationship and say, okay, why did this happen? Instead of just being corrective in nature, if I may say. So that's a very good point to indicate.
Yeah, and some other ways to do it is monitor their activities.
Okay.
So when my daughter was at home, we made sure that all of her internet activity was done at her age, that was done in a common area. So if she was on a computer or on some sort of a device, it was done in a common area that we could kind of keep an eye on her. And then once we felt more comfortable, then we allowed it to go into other rooms or to other places that was a little bit more private for them. But that's one way to do it. You can also determine which devices that they use. Like, for example, I said, is giving a child a phone just to have them go watch a video while you're doing something else.
Yeah.
Yes, it might be great for you, but it might not be the best for the child. Okay. And the other thing is time limits. Okay. Limit the amount of time the child has access to the device or access to the internet. Okay. Saying, hey, at a certain point, I'm sorry, but the time, this is the amount of time per day.
Okay.
The other thing is social media sites like Instagram, Facebook, some of those areas. Parents will have to somewhat take control. So some ideas that we've seen is don't allow them to come on unless you give them a password or login or a login that you have access to. That way you can see it. Also friending them on these sites. So my mom still friends me on my Facebook page. And being able to see, now she of course is now monitoring me, but being able to monitor what the child is seeing, what the child is posting, who the friends that they're making out there. Okay. So this gives them gives you a great opportunity to see what's going on out there.
Okay, and even appreciate their personality that they're putting out on social media. If something slipped through the cracks, being a dummy friend to your child on social media could be a good opportunity to find out what is the personality my child is putting out there. That's certainly a great solution.
Yeah. Talk to other parents. What are other parents? What are their ideas? What are they doing? It's always good to get some feedback and talking to other parents of some of the things that they're doing. We might learn from them of what's worked for them or what's not worked for them.
Okay.
Another area that's I've recently been thinking about too is the boarding schools. A lot of our children are going to boarding schools. And what happens is they're taking their devices, and then they'll have the devices. Do the schools have policies? As a parent, it's probably a really good idea to work with the boarding schools to make sure that they have some level of policies in place to protect the child.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the scope of control? And I think it will differ from schools to schools compared to the international schools, or what are the traditional schools doing? And back to what you indicated at the start as solutions to the problems we face on the internet, it will also come down to the type of relationship you do have with your child. So even if there are controls and policies in schools, you could still find children can sneak in or smuggle in, but that relationship, you will still fall back on that strength of your relationship with your child to appreciate the extent of exposure.
Right. And just remember, no solution is 100%.
Exactly.
These aren't going to solve everything, every problem out there, but it gives you a good starting point to get to. Okay. So you're not going to have, so for example, you might have great rules at your house, but your child may take your phone to a friend's house and they don't have any rules. So making sure that that's in place as well.
Certainly.
Yeah. And then banning children. I think a lot of times parents think, oh, I'll just ban the child from the internet. And that's not always a good case either, mainly for the fact that banning a child from the internet means that they'll just go find another way to get access.
Exactly, certainly.
Mm-hmm. So now what we want to do is we want to start looking at maybe some technology that can help. So we talked about some great ideas as you as a parent in your relationship with your child, some of the rules you can set up in your house, but let's see if there's some technology that can help. So our partner Rock Telecom has provided us some information about their RockProtect product. And it's a really cool product that as part of your ISP connection with Rock Telecom, you have access to this. So we'd like to show you a quick video about the RockProtect.
Hi guys, my name is Amanya Twaire, the Brand and Marketing Manager at Rock Telecom. I'd like to introduce you to one of our products that is going to help you and your family control your internet experience while browsing at home. RockProtect is our one-of-a-kind product created specifically for our users at home to help them be in charge and take control of their internet experience while at home. It has the following features. RockProtect enables you to block online threats like viruses and malware. It also enables you to block adverts that keep popping up when you're browsing the internet. RockProtect also has a feature that enables you to block inappropriate content that may come through, especially when the children are browsing. And lastly, it enables you to select certain sites or websites that you can choose to block. So the internet provides us with numerous possibilities, and these include our day-to-day entertainment, where we watch Netflix, maybe you could say YouTube, and our music channels on entertainment. Also, it gives us a platform to be able to do our work from home. And of course, education, because we're able to have online classes and study from home those courses. However, usage of the internet is associated with challenges in our day-to-day lives that hinder our safety as users at home. Some of these challenges we've experienced over the years include exposure to malware, pop-ups, and phishing sites that threaten your data and information. I can tell you that on a daily basis, there are over 100,000 malicious websites and about 10,000 malicious files that appear on the internet. As of January 2021, Google alone registered over 2 million phishing sites. Now, this is why I'm telling you that RockProtect is going to give you the power to block all these threats and enable you to browse your internet freely and safely. RockProtect is available for all our home users that are using the Rock Plus bundles and the Rock Fiber to the Home services. As Rock, we believe that this product will enable parents to limit the content that their children are exposed to. Now, this content could be good or bad. And you know, because we're in a time where we are studying hybrid, which could mean sometimes in class, sometimes at home, RockProtect also enables you to manage their productivity. For example, entertainment sites can be blocked for certain hours when the children are required to study, or let them open for the times when they are not going to be studying. For every Rock Plus and Rock Fiber to the Home customer, you are provided with credentials that help you to log in to our self-care portal, which helps you to manage your connection. Now, to be able to activate RockProtect, you are going to use the 4 following steps. 1. Log into the self-care portal using those very credentials that have been provided to you. 2. After logging in, on the top of the dashboard, select the option of RockProtect, which will then bring a drop-down menu of options that include settings, reports, frequently asked questions, and terms and conditions. Step 3, select the option of settings. Now, this will present you with a dashboard that will have the option of activate. And of course, step 4 is to activate RockProtect. Now, once you activate or click on activate, the service will be provided with terms and conditions, after which, if you accept or decline, the service will be active or not. RockProtect is available to our Rock Classic package at 8,000 shillings per month and Rock Unlimited package at 5,000 shillings per month only.
Thank you from our friends at Rock Telecom. That was very helpful in understanding how do we now use technology to help. As I mentioned, having information at home, having rules at home is very important. Now if I have technology that can help me, if I can block sites or if I can monitor the time, that helps me tremendously in making a policy at home to protect our children.
Certainly, certainly. And it's good to know that, Rock Telecom is also going out of their way, to come up with these ways to protect our children.
Yes. Now we have another video from Ambrose from Simplifi Networks. And Ambrose is going to talk about 3 different technologies out there. One of them is from Google, one of them is called OpenDNS, and another one's called a Velo, which is actually a hardware solution that you can actually use at your home to do some of these things as well.
Hi, my name is Ambrose. Again, welcome to the second episode of the Simplifi Tech Talks. In this session, we are featuring Rock Telecom, and I'll be sharing a few scenarios of how technology can be used to safeguard our children's online activity. So, when you give your child access to a phone or a tablet or any other device that has the capability to connect to the internet, there is a whole range of possible threats that you expose the child to. Things ranging from like advertisements to things like graphic content that they could see from social media sites, to adult content, to even the things that as a parent we may overlook. Something like the child spending way too much time on the internet, on that phone or tablet, and not doing things like homework, or failing to get enough sleep because they spend the whole time using their devices. So we want to look at a few options that we've kind of carefully curated and chosen that you can actually use today as a parent to kind of control or monitor how your child uses their internet-enabled device. One of the options that we will be looking at is a product from Google, or rather a tool from Google. It's called Google Family Link. This is something that as a parent you can install on your Android phone, and then it will help you monitor what activity your child is up to on their phone, on their Android phone as well. So you could be able to do things like have control over what apps they can install. Maybe you don't want them to install a certain social media app, or maybe you don't want to install certain video apps, things like that. You have also the ability to do things like control their screen time, so that you can be able to ensure that they use that device for more productive things, and then give them breaks where they can use it for more casual things like listening to music and whatnot. So it will even give you the capability to see where your device, see the device's location, which can sometimes be your child's location. So you can kind of track where your child is at any one point in time. The other tool that we'll be looking at is more geared towards parents with a bit of technical background, and this is it's a tool called OpenDNS. This will help you as a parent to kind of filter what content your child can access, or any other network user at home, what content they can access over the internet, by enabling you to block certain sites like adult content, like gambling and betting and all those kinds of sites, so that you can have productive browsing or usage of the internet. Then the third and last option that we want to show you guys is a product that we are introducing to the market. This is called Velo. So it's a home router, a home Wi-Fi device that will combine or thread the needle between these two lines, and have give you the ability to control your Wi-Fi or your home network, as well as control schedule, or have a control of how much time your child can spend online, by being able to block internet access for their device and unblock at certain times of the day, as well as restrict access to certain contents and certain websites, by allowing you to block certain sites using the Velo app that I'll be showing you briefly. Okay, so when we take a look at Google Family Link, like I said, it's just an app that you can actually install off the Google Play Store. If, of course, you're using an Android phone, I think you can also install it from the App Store if you're of the iPhone preference. So I'm just going to launch it here on my phone, and I'll be showing you some of the features that you have at your disposal as a parent who has decided to use the Family Link to monitor how your child uses their device. So some of the things you can do is you can be able to see what apps they have installed recently, and take action if some of the apps you did not approve, or you don't want your child using such apps. You also have a location of where the device is, which can kind of be where your child is, depending. Then you have the ability to actually lock the device. So if for any reason maybe you did not schedule screen time for a day or something, or there's a particular week where you don't expect anyone to be using the device, so you can actually just tap the lock here, and then your device will be locked, and it can only be unlocked by a code that you can generate. What is also nice about this is if there is need to reward your child, maybe they've done something very nicely, maybe they have finished their homework on time for a particular day, you can actually give them a bonus of X amount of minutes, maybe 20 minutes bonus, because they did something so well, and just to kind of show that you're appreciating or something of the sort. You can also do things like settings, and again control what apps they can or can't install. You can blacklist some of the apps. You can also look at what apps they currently have installed and disable any that you feel like you need disabling. Yeah. So again, this is a small kind of overview of how you can use the Google Family Link app. You need to install it from the Google Store, then use it to kind of to set up an account for your child that your phone will be able to monitor, like I've shown you, and control over what it can or can't do. So what I have here is a tablet that is for a child, and it's being controlled by a parent's account. So I'll just show you how the child actually needs the permission of a parent to install a new application. So let's say this child is trying to install maybe WhatsApp or any other, it could be any other app for that matter. So the moment they hit install in their Google Play Store app, they get hit with a notification of they need to ask their parent if it's okay to run this app. And the moment they don't have any approval, they cannot install this app. So you kind of have that granular control of what apps your child gets exposed to, and make sure that you're not they don't get exposed to things that involve any bad activity. Now with the Velo Wi-Fi router, what you have is what is nice about it is you've got two management options. You have an Android app or iOS app in case you're using iPhone that you can use to manage it as a parent. Then on the side of the internet service providers, you've also got a fully fledged ISP portal that can be used to manage thousands of these routers deployed anywhere. So what our interest is going to be more is on the Android or iOS app, which is what you would be using as a parent. And I'm just going to launch one here on the phone and kind of show you the interfaces. So once you launch it, it will show you how many routers you've got in your network or at home. Currently, this one has got one. You can be able to see things like how many phones or laptops are connected to the router, and if you need to take action, remove some, or maybe double check how many people are using your internet, things like that. What we are more interested in is the parental controls option, which allows you to add your child's device to the parental controls, and then be able to do things like restrict how much time they have online. So you could schedule the internet time maybe from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. if the child is at home, or maybe from 7 to 8 if they are coming back from school. And you can just also have the option to disable the internet altogether in case you need to remove it so that they can concentrate on something else. You also have the option to blacklist some websites so that they cannot be able to visit those websites. so that you have more control and in making sure that when they're using the internet, they're using it for more productive things. So you can be able to blacklist websites and services. Now, moving to the ISP bit, you've got a portal where you can manage as an ISP and see how many Velos you've deployed to the different customers and be able to tell if they have any faults, if they are online and they are functioning well, and have visibility so that as an ISP you can be able to troubleshoot and know that if this client's Wi-Fi is not working, it's probably because they are doing XYZ rather than thinking that it's the internet that is probably not working. Let's take a look here. All right, again, I'd like to thank you for taking some time to listen and watch our Tech Talk. Again, my name is Ambrose. This episode was in partnership with RockProtect. A big thanks to them again. See you in the next one.
It was an amazing description of a lot of technologies that are available, and at some no cost to you as a parent to be able to use to protect your children. Rebecca, after this discussion today, are you going to change anything at your house?
Yes, certainly I am. Not only in the software, building that relationship even further and maybe educating my kids some more about the internet, but also deploying some of these devices that are available to restrict, exposure where I have concerns.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
So tonight we talked about some of the challenges that are on the internet. I mean, first of all, the internet is good. There's a lot of good things that can be done on the internet. And we actually have to harness those good things that are on the internet. Encourage the education, encourage the good behavior on the internet, encourage the social media and the things that are positive. That is still going to be there, and we need to make sure that we're there. But as we talk, there are bad things out there.
Yeah,
things like phishing, things like malware, things like bullies out there. And what we need to do is make sure we as parents make sure that we have a strong relationship with our children, so when things like this happen, that we can have a conversation, that we can discuss it, that they feel comfortable discussing it, and so that we have a positive outcome at the end of the day. Then we also talked about the technology, the RockProtect, which is an excellent product for all the people using the Rock ISP services. Then the things like OpenDNS and Velo and the Google services.
Okay.
So we have a lot of ways that we can also help the parents on protecting our children.
Yeah, certainly exciting content for the average parent to hear.
Yes. So we want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope it was valuable for you. We have up on our website, and you'll see in the screen that's following, a link to where a white paper is located so that you can actually see information, more detailed information about what we talked about tonight. Okay. Also, if you have additional questions, we have tech talks at simplifynetworks.com. We're happy to see if we can respond or point people in the right direction if they have any comments. We thank you again for joining us tonight. We really appreciate your time and hope this was valuable for you. Have a good evening. Good night.
Good night.